Welcome to Long Run Lactic, a running media concept devoted to cultivating, documenting, and curating the beauty of finding fitness. From the infancy of our first steps to the conquest of a race won, we all have a story to tell. I'm your host, Bernard England, and today I sit down with two wonderful world-class athletes, Emma Bates and Dom Scott, and catch up on their long run as they make their last and final prep for the Chicago Marathon. On today's interview, we discuss everything from Chicago goals, Boulder life, living and training, and Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Let's get into it. We are here in beautiful Boulder. I actually don't know what park this is, so you're gonna have to help me here.
Tom Watson Park.
Tommy Watts.
Tommy Watts. Is it? Leah said it's called something else.
We call it Coots, but Coots actually on the other side of the street.
We have our own names for everything now.
We just like to be different on Team Boss. They get complicated.
I'm gonna need you to send me a spreadsheet of all the actual government names and the Team Boss names of all these. We're here with Emma Bates and Dom Scott, two lovely ladies that are gonna run Chicago, and we're just fireside chatting it, just talking. So how's today? What do we have on the slate today? Obviously, I was there on beautiful Sunday, 7 o'clock morning. But what was on the slate for the long run?
Last long run of the build, 20 miles. So it was a down week for us, only doing 20.
When the down week is 20, then you know we're looking pretty good going into stuff.
Yeah.
How did it feel? I mean, everyone looked controlled, everyone looked good out there. But from your perspective, how do you feel? I know we're only 2 weeks out now, so just. If you didn't feel good, it's time to start feeling good. So
feel good. Dom felt better than I did. I felt better this week, which normally I'm the one that feels better on the long runs, and Dom's the one that feels better in like the track shorter stuff. But we flipped this week,
yeah,
so I felt better in the track stuff, but she felt better today.
Yeah, I think it's been such a long build. I think we were close on like 10, 11 weeks of training for this one race now, and I think it's just important to look at the work as a whole and not at each day individually. And yeah, Emma and I have put together some amazing work over the past 10, 11 weeks. So yeah, I think there are some days that you're going to feel like 90% and other days you're going to feel 100%. And today I felt pretty smooth, so I was happy. Yeah. Well,
how about the build? When we talk about the build, I obviously follow you both on Instagram. If you don't, we're going to put both the tags at the bottom. But how's it been from a teammate's perspective, having someone that you kind of rely on day in, day out for just one specific race? I know for me, I've got high school athletes where sometimes, hey, you don't work well with this person for this workout, but it seems like you guys seem to have worked out really, really well for just this build. So talk a little about that.
It's actually insane, like how well we work together. Like I have had training partners in the past, and I've always felt so competitive with them, and it just has never meshed. And I thought Dom and I were actually going to be this way because we used to compete against each other in college. Like we were both in the 10K vying for that national championship spot. And so I thought that we would be a little more like cutthroat and want to, like kind of run each other down. But we have never felt that way. We've never felt the competitive nature of like one-stepping each other. We are always just wanting to work together and build each other up. And so I think it's so rare and so amazing that we have that. And like I have done so many of my marathon buildups alone. So to have somebody like not only, just there in general, but to have somebody that's actually like pushing me and making sure that I'm doing what I need to do every day. Like again, Dom is so good at the shorter stuff. And then I'm a little bit better at the longer stuff just because I've been doing it for a bit longer. Yeah. But we just complement each other so well in that regard, just because I am not great at pushing myself in that short stuff. Like the short stuff is hard for me, but having her around is just such peace of mind because I know I just need to follow her and follow in her footsteps.
Wow, I mean, I need a tissue. Emotionally beautiful.
No, it has been really cool. I think my first marathon build was earlier this year, preparing for the London Marathon. And because Emma was getting ready for Boston and London are such different courses, that and a lot of other reasons, Joe kept us separate. And it was hard work, like showing up every day by yourself, doing your warm up, the workout, and the cool down by yourself. Also in the spring in Boulder, it's pretty brutal. To then this time around getting to do everything with Emma and also having Scott Farble with us on our workout days, it's just brought kind of like this ease to training where you know that you're showing up, you're getting to train with people that you really like and respect. So that's been amazing. And then I think I just have so much respect for Emma. I mean, what she's been able to do in the marathon is absolutely incredible. You know, time and time again, showing up on the world stage, you know, anything can happen in the marathon, but Emma is so good at it and knows exactly what to do. And yeah, I respect it so much. So I haven't tried to compete against her in any workouts. I've just tried to use her as much as I can. And then if there are days that I can help her in the speedier stuff, try to help her. And it's really been special. I feel very lucky to have got to train with her the past 3 months.
Beautiful.
2.5 months.
I think for me, having a high school team that we're coaching right now, it's hearing that and having like the camaraderie aspect be such a pivotal part of any build-up, whether it's a 5K or marathon, just sounds so beautiful. So thank you for sharing that. Boulder. I'm now in Phoenix, so I understand the heat. What is Boulder life like, weather-wise, culture-wise? On the long run this morning, it was beautiful. We had 1 million people out there running. Obviously, you had a couple of college teams out there. Just tell me what Boulder's been like. I know you've been here for a little while now, so you seem to be much more experienced than I will ever be about it. So, yeah, tell me a little about Boulder.
Boulder, summers are hot.
I did not think it was going to be this hot.
It's dry heat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was cold this morning for me, but now it seems like, okay, 75 up here at altitude is a little warmer.
Once the sun comes out, it's real deal.
Closer to the sun up here.
So I didn't really expect that when I first moved here. I moved here from Boise, Idaho, and the like mornings were much cooler, and so like you're just able to like, I don't know, get like more quality work in. So I had to really dial myself back. One, being at higher altitude, you know, it's just harder to run, less oxygen, but then the heat also. So you have to really dial it back, and so you just have to like really run within yourself, run controlled. That's something that I had to relearn how to do moving here, and especially like the winters. Like, I mean, we get quite a bit of snow, so you have to be on the treadmill, and I hate the treadmill, but I've learned to love the treadmill now because you have to love it. You have to love going to practice every day, and like being on this team and having the atmosphere that we do. Like, I go to the gym and we have 2 treadmills, which we're so lucky. So I can run next to Dom or run next to Scott or somebody else on our team. And then we have Joe and Nick, our coaches, that are just like goofy and dancing and, you know, blasting music for us. And it's just always such a great, yes, Nick was here this morning. So we always just have like such a good, fun, light environment whenever we go to practice, which I love.
Good.
Yeah.
How's Boulder? I know it's got to be different.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing, to be honest. So for people that don't know, I born and raised in Cape Town, South Africa, got a scholarship to run at the University of Arkansas. After graduating, stayed in Arkansas for about 2 years before Joe started coaching me. Stayed in Arkansas for about another year, and then persuaded my husband Cameron to move out to Boulder, and we've been here about 4 years, which that whole story is just making me feel very old. But honestly, I think if we had stayed in Arkansas, I don't think I would still be running professionally. You know, running professionally is such a gift, and we're so lucky to get to do what we love for a profession and for a living. But it's also really, really hard, and to not be in a place where, you know, it's as beautiful as Boulder and it's as easy to run on soft surface trails and be bumping into other runners all the time that have similar goals to you. It was hard. So I feel very, very fortunate to live in Boulder, Colorado, and get to train in such a beautiful place. Being at altitude, which I always like remind myself is helping me. It's like a runner's paradise up here.
Good. What's favorite coffee shop? I'm a coffee connoisseur. So what's your favorite? I went to Boxcar yesterday with Colin Wall.
Boxcar is very good.
I will call out Verb Coffee just because it's very close to where I live. Okay. And the people there are amazing. Shout out Carlos and Mary. They're awesome. So if you're in Boulder, I suggest you check out Verb on 30th. What about you?
I'm a Spruce gal. So North Boulder or Pearl Street. That's my go-to. And Spruce juice it's not a juice. The first time I went in there, I ordered a spruce juice expecting like some fruity drink, but it's actually coffee. So if you go in there, just know it's not a juice.
Check that out. What about eats? Any fast food eats? Well, not real fast food, but something quick or even something like a sit-down dinner. What's your favorite eats in Boulder? It seems like there's a lot on Pearl Street. Last
There's
night,
a lot,
I will say, I had some of the best fried chicken and candied yams, which I was not expecting to get. But she called it out and said, "Hey, does anyone want fried chicken and candied yams?" I don't know why she made eye contact
Why
with me.
would you not? Yeah.
But I sat there and had a very good time eating it. So what else is there other than just those Pearl Street delectables?
Yeah, there are a lot of fun places on Pearl Street. I'll say Cameron and my favorite date night place is actually in Niwot, which is only like 10 minutes from here. It's called 1914 House. So if you're in the Boulder area, want a date night, it's not super fancy, but it's just like good food, that's where I'd go. And then if you want something that's like fast food-ish, I'll shout out No Palitos, who sponsors my husband and a lot of the team boss's husband's softball team called the Shin Splints. No Palitos sponsored their uniforms, which is pretty cool. And No Palitos is kind of like a fast food Mexican.
Okay.
Yeah, but like not a chain. It's like very cute.
Great. I'm a big fan of Black Belly, which is like a butcher shop / dinner restaurant / burrito place. So you can get anything that you want as long as you're not vegetarian.
And then you can order spruce juice to that spot.
Exactly. Yeah.
So backtracking to Chicago, we're 2 weeks out. We obviously all woke up to stunning news of a 2:11.
Crazy news.
I'm going to wish you the best of luck and say that you're going to run faster than 2:11, both of you, 2 weeks from now.
You're sweet.
From a goals perspective, obviously we don't know what can happen in the future, but what are you looking forward to from not only Chicago, but after Chicago? Is this, especially for you, is this like a stepping stone for the trials in terms of trying to figure out where you are? Kind of best case scenario, worst case scenario. Obviously, best case scenario is 2:10 now. But what are we looking at from a Chicago goal perspective?
Yeah, I'm trying not to think too much about the trials. I know that this is a stepping stone to get there, but I really want to do well at this race. Right. And I think for it to be a stepping stone, I really have to focus on this and this alone. So I just want to do my very best. And that means, for me, PRing, but also like by a significant amount. So my PR comes from Boston, where I felt like I was in 2:18, 2:19 shape going into that race, but it's not a fast course. So 2:22 on that course, which we went out so slow. It just wasn't
6 minute first mile.
6:30, I think we went out at. So I know that it's in me to run a sub 2:20 at least, but I really want to be in that 2:18, 2:19 range. And then I can kind of, flirt with that American record. We don't know until the day comes, of course, what kind of conditions we're going to get, but I want to run fast. But the main objective of a Chicago or any world major basically is to compete. And so I just want to put myself into position to be in that top 3, put myself into contention to win if I can. But if it's going to be run at a 2:12 or 2:11, I am realistic enough to know that that's not quite in the cards for me just yet. So
just next year.
Yeah.
Nam, how about you?
Yeah, I think so much, like we can speak so much about our goals, but so much is going to come down to the weather in Chicago. And we all know that it could be a million different things in Chicago. So we're praying for cool, perfect weather. But I think ultimately my goal is just to have a good experience. London was the hardest race I've ever run in my life. And
How so?
It was very far and very hard.
The first marathon is the worst. Man.
Yeah, that's what they tell me. And I'm really
hoping
it's true. London is interesting because it's a women's only start. Right. So you don't have any men around you. You don't have any masses around you. And for some reason, just happened this year that the field kind of like disintegrated about a week before the race. So there were meant to be a lot more athletes in the 2:20 range. And about a week before, all the Canadians, Brits, Americans kind of dropped out. I say all, the majority of them dropped out. So I was running with a great Brit, maybe for 9-ish miles. And then I had a pacer through like 15 miles. And then I was by myself and didn't see another runner until I crossed the finish line. And that was hard. That was really, really hard. And yeah, the furthest race I'd ever run before was a half marathon. Got to 20 miles and my body started freaking out and screaming at me, and I still had 6 miles to go. And thanks to Will Lear, I didn't forget about the 0.2. He kept telling me before I left, he was like, don't forget about the 0.2. So I had 6.2 miles to go, and yeah, it was like a gut check, a mental check. It was all of those checks. And for whatever crazy reason, I still want to try it again because I feel like I can do better.
It makes you a special person. I'll call it that.
Well, I think like we're all crazy. Runners are crazy people. And I would like to just have a better experience than that. I also know that I'm capable of a lot more, having run a 67:30 half. So yeah, hoping for a better experience. I'm going to bring one of my best friends, Jackson Neff, out to help pace me. And hopefully, I know that will make a big difference.
Shout out Jackson.
Shout out Jackson. Yeah, I mean, time-wise, like running a PB would be incredible. I ran 2:29.19 in London. The Paris standard of
just gonna blow that out of the park.
There's the South African record of 2:25.28. So I'll have lots of goals. But I think there's so much to learn in the marathon,
right.
And I know every build I'm gonna get better. Hoping that this is a good one, but like Joe keeps telling me, like, we just don't know how many long runs or how many marathons it's going to take until it all kind of clicks. So trying not to put too much pressure on myself.
She's going to crush it.
You heard it here first. Dom will crush it. All right, fun stuff. Emma, this PE Asics collab, I'm in love with. From an aesthetic standpoint, I don't know who they are, what they are, but they're getting something right. So tell me about what that is, where they come from. I know you said they were Australian.
PE Nation is from Australia, yes. And Asics is doing all these fun collabs with different companies, especially like apparel companies.
Right.
Because I think they know like how important it is to like look good and feel good and run good. And so
isn't that the prime time? Coach Prime?
Exactly. So that's what it's about. And so they're collabing, with PE Nation, and they're going to start collabing with Bandit, which is a New York-based company. So it is just so cool to see like them like branching out and just like getting into like different like facets of the industry, like fashion industry. So I think Asics is on the up and up in that department. And the shoes have always been amazing and will always be amazing. But they're tweaking their clothing a little bit, and it's really fun to see. Yeah.
Dom, I don't even know, but probably Boston 3. I'm a Boston fanatic. That is my everyday training shoe.
Nice.
I will live and die by the Bostons. How do you feel with the new ones? How do you feel with, I love the Stella McCartney?
Yeah,
I love that collab, but tell me more about like what you like in Adidas right now. And
ooh, I'm very much like a feel good, run good girly. Like I like everything to be very comfortable. So I don't branch out that much. I'm like, find one sports bra that feels really comfortable.
50 of them.
And then I get it in every single color. That's me. I am very impressed with Adidas's super shoes right now. I'm wearing the Pro 3s.
Yeah.
And they just came out with this shoe that broke the world record this morning, which by like 2 minutes. So that's super cool. I don't think I'm special enough to get that one for Chicago, but if anyone's listening to this, I would love that shoe for Chicago.
I'll make sure I put this out like a week before. They'll come in. You have to wait till Sunday morning. They'll come in Sunday morning, but I'll try and I'll reach out to my connections, which there are none. We're working hard for that.
I don't even know what they're called. They're like the Pro 3 Evolution 1 or something, but those all white ones, they look
well, now they're called the Pro 3 Evolution 211.
Yeah.
211, yeah. Lighter, better. But yeah, I think Adidas is doing an awesome job with their super shoes, and like you said, the Bostons, which now are like half super.
Yeah,
they're like half super, which if anyone's looking for something that isn't as aggressive to do, long runs or tempos in, the Boston's such a great option for that. I will say Emma and I do all of our workouts in our super shoes. Mm-hmm. We're either in our recovery trainer doing easy runs and warming up and cooling down, or we're in our super shoes.
Why is that?
The super shoes just allow us to recover quicker. That, and then we're getting the feeling for what we're going to feel in the marathon. And I think that's really important. I used to do my long runs either in the Bostons or in a trainer because I was like, oh, they're heavier and they're like,
you'll get more out of it.
Yeah. But actually it's so important to like know your rhythm and know your stride and the feeling of being fatigued in these shoes. So we do all our work in these.
All right, you guys are about to hit that long run brain, I'm sure, so I will make it quick. But last thing, from a training perspective, obviously you guys are doing a marathon build, and I'm years out from doing any type of marathon. I'll do a half just to be cute.
Okay.
I'll do a half.
Half is perfect, honestly.
I'm going to stay on the track for a little while longer. But from a mentality standpoint, what is something from a high schooler that has no idea what cross country is, no idea what track is, they just started, what's something you can give, right? So I have, what do we have, 30 kids on the team. Most of them, they just started because their parents either A, told them they had to do a sport, or they needed something that was a little bit easier to get into from a social standpoint. So if you're starting out and you can only walk, what's something you think you tell a little girl that I'm only walking, I'll never be there? So what's something you would tell? I'll usually tell them, don't say that, we'll get there no matter what. But from a pros perspective, what would you say?
I think the only reason I've stayed in this sport as long as I have and seen the progress I've had is because I've had so much fun in it and have found my joy in it and have found my play. And I think making it your playground, whatever that means, and like if you need to walk every day or, you know, whatever that is, it's like just making it so like maintainable or sustainable for you, and making it something that like you enjoy going to every single day. Because if you enjoy it every single day and you keep going back to it, you're going to improve no matter what. You don't even have to think about it. It just happens over time. So I think that's the main thing, is just, find your joy and find your happy in it.
Beauty.
That's so cute.
We're getting a lot of tear jerkers.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. I think, you know, if you are starting from like the walking space, I would just say like a little bit of running, you know, like, and just build from there. You don't have to go from 0 to 100 in your first practice. You know, I think
you should repeat that, because I have that sound every day.
I could barely run 10 full minutes my first time out. So that's, again,
I think Emma and my careers too, if you look at them, neither of us went from, you know, joining the team to the best on the team. Both of us in college worked our way up to, you know, winning national titles, and now in the pro world have worked our way up to being some of the best runners in the world. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like there's nothing wrong with climbing the ladder slowly and surely. If anything, it's like a healthier way. It's a more fun way because you get to see little progress more often. But yeah, like Emma said, I think so important, just like figuring out what makes you happy, why you want to do it, what's your why you come to practice. That's what's going to keep you going on those really hard days, on the cold days, on the days you're tired.
I mean, I could barely run, 5:30 for 1 mile when I was, in high school, and now I'm running 26 of those.
Right.
Like insane. I never would have thought that would be possible.
Point two.
Yeah. Don't forget about the point 2.
Yeah.
Well, I love that, and I definitely appreciate it, considering I met you guys. Well, Dom, I didn't meet you until I think this summer officially.
Yeah.
But I met you last year, and even then, I feel like just watching the growth of both of you till now, you can see from a running perspective, that is the sport. You have to grow, whether it's backwards.
Yeah.
You learn mentally, even if you're running slower. But I will say, it has been beautiful to watch your progression and maturity. Just listening to you explain, how to work with a teammate that you have no idea what it's going to be like. You're already expecting one thing, and then now 10 to 12 weeks later, you realize I couldn't have done this the same way without this person. So I appreciate you. I am eternally grateful for always being able to say, like, I know you guys now, and I wish you all the best of luck trying to get under 211 in 2 weeks. So one last thing. There's some news that Taylor Swift has a new interest.
Oh, yeah.
A new love
Travis
interest.
Kelce?
Well, this hasn't been confirmed yet.
Yeah.
I was watching Thursday Night Football, and it still has yet to be confirmed. But how do you feel about this new love
I just
interest?
think it's sick, like how he put his number on a friendship bracelet and then had to like give it to someone. I mean, that is like, a player's gonna play. That's pretty creative.
Isn't that one of her songs?
Yeah.
If it's not, it will be. This is her football era. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, there we go.
I love it. I mean, just being like a sporty person, I'm like, yeah, Taylor, get an athlete.
That's what this is going to be called. Dom and Emma in their Chicago era.
There we go.
Yay!